is to share the status quo of monetization of music on digital platforms so that we can find the gap and to see how best this project can close that gap. Presently, there are 3 popular ways that musicians are using to monetize music on online platforms. The first one is YouTube. The second one is working with DSPs, digital streaming platforms. And the third one, there are about 3 or 4 local websites that are able to provide online store services for musicians to sell their music. I'll start with YouTube. In Malawi, we don't have what they call the YouTube Partner Program. For you to be able to monetize or to make money from your music on YouTube, you have to be a member of the YouTube Partner Program. And for you to qualify for the YouTube Partner Program, your channel needs to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers and also a minimum of 4,000 watch hours for you to be able to just qualify. Apart from qualifying, Malawi is not one of the countries that offer this program. The reason is there are no advertisers advertising on YouTube in Malawi, significant enough for that program to be introduced in Malawi. So we spread the message to the private sector, to the government, to the public sector, if we can use YouTube as a channel to advertise so that our creatives, our musicians can make money. But you are also aware that there are also musicians who are monetizing on YouTube. This is how it's done. They declare that they are from a different country where this program is. How to declare that? You use an address of somebody, a relation or a friend in a different country. And also accounts of somebody in a different country. That's how it's possible to monetize at this point. But then again, it's against the monetization policies, which people could get in trouble with. So what that means is the government needs to come in to see how best can we support our musicians to be able to legally be members of the YouTube Partner Program, to be able to benefit. You know, YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. It's only second from Google. And also there are people earning lucrative money, a living from YouTube. So if we can be able to be members of the partner program, it means our musicians will be able to leverage off that. Secondly, the DSPs, the digital streaming platforms. For you to be able to have your music on Spotify, on Deezer, on Apple Music, and Tidal, all these platforms, Amazon Music, no musician goes directly to these platforms. You go through a DSP. And some of the popular DSPs are CD Baby, DistroKid, Landa, Chunko, Amuse. There's many of them. The popular two being used in Malawi is CD Baby and DistroKid. DistroKid is popular because it's affordable. You pay a yearly fee and you can upload music as much as you want, as long as you're paying that yearly fee. Whereas CD Baby, you don't pay the annual fee, you pay per song. Some people find that to be expensive. Royalties, for DistroKid, you can get up to 100% your streaming royalties. Whereas on CD Baby, you get up to 91%. And also, as musicians, we collaborate. For example, I can collaborate with Skefa. So meaning the royalties, there would be need for a split. So royalty splitting is easier on DistroKid to say X amount, X percentage goes to Skefa, X percentage goes to Phyzix. So basically, this is what our musicians are having to go through. But then again, if you are keen enough to go on these platforms, let's say for example Spotify, which is the most popular streaming service, you see that not more than 50 musicians are there in Malawi. But when you see the membership in the Musicians Union, membership in COSOMA, there's thousands of musicians. What that means is there's a gap. It means not all musicians are enjoying that service or that opportunity to enjoy that service. So this project, Digital Archive Project, what does it present to cover that gap? Because I might be on Spotify because of my personal effort. KOK could be on Spotify because it's personal effort. But what about that musician in Jinji? What about that musician in Kasungu? Because in actual sense, the music we need to be exporting is that uniquely Malawian music. Those gule drums, Malipenga, those sounds are what we need to be exporting. So if we don't have those people making the pure Malawian music on these platforms, how are we promoting the tourism through music in Malawi? So that means my hope is this project could cover that gap. Some of the local platforms that are trying, there's MalawiMusic.com, they've got an online store. Migozi tried, but because the process was tedious, they are now talking to the MNOs to see how best they can bridge that gap. I know there was Goethe-Institut, I think it's a COSOMA project. There was Goethe-Institut. So all in all, we want the musicians to be able to have their works of art showcased on a global stage. Others are doing it on their own, but what can we do for the rest? Mine was to just share the status quo in terms of music monetization on the digital platforms. Thank you so much.